Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It is a Sunday night. We are here for some more vampire shenaniganry, as you can see from the background and into bricks. I am your friendly neighborhood Prax. Uh, we are going to play some fun times. Thank you for the small delay. I was just running behind. There were just, it was not a fast moving day. But we're going to go around, and you'll notice that we have one person missing on our overlay. Our Vandus could not be with us today, but apparently he will be rooting for Team Locate Lan from the uh, air. And I'm sure that nothing bad will happen while, y'all are in Palermo. But we're gonna let our other two players introduce themselves before we dive back into the fun and darkness and macabre. So, hey PB, how you doing?
Hi, I'm excited to be here to be representing Team Low Clan while we're in High Clan territory up here in Palermo. And tonight I am playing Elena, a Ravnos vampire who is honestly just here for a good time. That's really just the gist of her. She's just here for a good time, no matter where that takes her.
Hey Pope, I'm not going to go immediately where my brain went, and
There is so much temptation of fate with how the story has gone. Um, both sides. Hey everybody, Pope here. Pope World Build on the internets. Uh, Back with this wonderful crew playing Surly Dane. Both of us use he, him pronouns. And yes, we're in Palermo because some folks wanted to go hunting
mm-hmm.
in a place that is going to be crawling with hunters.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
Sometimes you gotta live a little in your undeath, Gotta keep it spicy.
There's living, and then there is tempting fate.
Same difference.
I'm sure that would be true. That could be true. But you all are in Palermo. You have made your way here. You are spent the night in the abode of one Signore Catalano. Where is Signore Catalano? Where'd he go? I put him in here, right?
I don't remember him yet.
Yeah, no. Carmine Catalano. See, he's here. There we go. He's number 20. He owns the guest house that you are staying in.
Yes.
Apparently a gentleman of stature and nuance. Where you all you spent the day. And as night falls, there are, like we said, there are upper balcony rooms. There were 3 rooms along one corridor that you all were taking. As you each rise for the evening, you would find a small little slip of paper slid under your doors.
What does it say, this fancy little piece of parchment?
It's just a very simple announcement that Lord Tybalt the Bastard, Prince of Palermo, uh, welcomes all his guests. Um, and then a small, like, it's kind of like a nice handwriting on kind of like a, not quite cardstock, like little, we would say almost like a receiving card almost, but not quite. And then there's like a quick note at the bottom. Um, he succeeded in the duel last night. CC. Kind of like tagged on at the bottom.
I will go find my knight friend and see what he makes of this letter, aside from just a calling, a welcome into the city.
I see you are finally up.
Oh, you say finally? The night has just risen. I'm awake at the exact hour I should be.
Hmm.
Are you awake in the day? Is that why you are so grumpy at night?
No, it is a bit of God's grace that I am able to see the last vestiges of the sun.
Oh, okay. So that is why you are grumpy at night. Good to know. I'm learning a little bit more about you every day.
So, I take it you got a note as well.
I did. What do you make of it?
I actually would love to make a roll to figure out what I make of it.
You can indeed.
So, this sounds like a politics or maybe a cult roll, depending on what circles this bastard
You would
dwells
get
in.
very vastly different information if you rolled a cult. I would say that really at this point, it would probably be wits politics.
Okay. Let us try and see. Find out what we know. No successes.
No successes, but not a botch.
Nope.
Nope. Just a straightforward announcement of change in leadership.
Yeah. I don't make much of this, aside from apparently they fought for the crown. And
Well, then it's an exciting time to be here in Palermo.
someone who wears the title bastard typically is not someone that one finds as kind.
There are many of our kind that are not very kind. Especially if, as you say, it's up here is where all the old people with things stuck up their behind are.
I see you have talked to the clan of the dragon and their strange proclivities.
There are many strange people out here. You know, once you get a long life, I think people begin to be bored. I think staying in one space, it's not good for you. Looks at you very intently.
I have traveled plenty.
Of course, of course. Well, the night is young. Where would you like to go first, Sir Ludain?
I am accompanying you. Remember, this is the trip that you and our deep sleeper wanted to take.
Yes, but I'm inviting you out as like a thank you. You know Palermo. Let's go somewhere nice, and it's my treat. It's as a thank you.
I see. You have a gift to eat? Still?
Food? Yes, I can eat food.
That makes one of us.
There's many things out there. Many people to meet. Look, if you have a preference, we'll go out. We'll go find someone.
I tend to just run in to a meal.
Then let it be my treat. Let us go out.
So, are we searching for clues or are we just taking in the city?
One cannot find what they are looking for if they do not know where to find it. We need to get a lay of the land first. I've never been to Palermo.
Ah, I see.
I'll get lost out here. Let us walk around, see the sights, meet the people, and then from there we figure it out. Maybe get the feel about this bastard Thibault or whatever their name was.
In that case, may I suggest we go someplace dark and damp?
You do have a preference, of course. If that is where you wish to go, Sir Ludain, that is where we will go first.
No, I'm just using the information that the good lady gave us. I'm meeting with someone who is of a clan that is often shy.
Look, I am not judging. If you want to go somewhere dark and damp for your special night out, then that is where we go.
Let us try and meet Severus.
And maybe they will know where to get a good meal. I see where your head is at. Let us go then.
And so we head out into the night and take in the city and then try and find where, if one was a local Nosferatu, where would they be on this fine evening?
So that sounds like a roll.
Yes.
That sounds suspiciously words like
Investigation.
I would say investigation, probably wits investigation.
Yes. We will spend the willpower.
To get one success.
Yes. No successes.
No successes, but you spent that willpower, so it's not a botch.
Yes.
So you make your way around the old town. Well, what we're calling the old town because that's what it's called currently. Um, the historical center. North of you end up kind of meandering around down to the Villa Giulia, and the university. Won't be called the university yet, but it's kind of like the gardens
Hmm.
um, around the Piazza Sant'Uno. All of these wonderful things. And the city is tense. You see a large number of men at arms with swords on their person in armor. You see a lot of fewer people in the streets at night. If there are, they're in groups of twos or threes. You feel the tension in the air. You do see a larger number of religious monastic militaristic orders. Some knights hospitaller, some knights Templar, but no knights Lazarus, which is not a surprise inside the city limits of
Yes.
a large city like this. Large. But there is a tension growing in this city. It feels almost as if one wrong move and everything would go wrong.
Oh. This seems so pleasant.
Yes, it is very quiet at night. And no offense, but a lot of people who are kind of like dressed like you out also, so a lot of like furry daddies.
Oh, that is a lot of armed and armored men that are looking for an excuse.
I wonder if this is to do with the Tybalt fellow.
No. I do not think someone who calls himself bastard would have invited all of this. No. Usually those who wear that title are ones whose enforcers are less declarative.
Well, this might make things a little bit more less fun, but
The church has a distinct presence here, now. And you still want to be in the city.
I mean, we just got here. We can't just leave. We can stick around a night. Plus, Pietro's asleep, so I didn't realize the trip was going to be so much on him. I guess maybe it's a land thing. Maybe he's just a lot more accustomed to being on the boat. And honestly, he's our biggest, wild card.
Yes. I half expect that there will be a disturbance sometime in the night as he will have woken up and decided not to stay put and have run afoul something. But
Probably he can read the room.
man who kicks in a church door can
To be
read a
fair,
room.
that wasn't a room. That was outside. He's starting inside this time. Maybe a little bit more tact. I don't know. You know him better than I.
He will find trouble. Not the trouble he wants, but he will find it.
Speaking of trouble, any luck on finding our friend?
No, but I cannot blame him given the surroundings.
That is fair. I could take a look. I mean, I was distracting you a little bit. There's some exciting things out here in Palermo. Very beautiful architecture.
My eyes wander more to see how many sharp objects the people around and out are carrying.
See, and this is why I am very grateful that you came with us. So, okay. The good lady told us that, Servatius? Is that his name? Servatius?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Okay, Servatius. But kind of a little bit shy, which, understandable. So, if we are here, I do not think the middle of the city is maybe where they would be found. So maybe that is where we went wrong the first time. I take a second and I look around our surroundings. And I like look up. I'm assuming this isn't a flat city. This is a
Well,
You're still muted.
sorry, I thought it unmuted itself. What I can do is send you a Google image. Flat is complicated. Because technically the city's flat in the sense, but but it's like the city is in a valley around of which the here doop. I'm just using the modern map because it's the most effective. So the northeast section of Palermo is the harbor that goes out along the north coast of Sicily. Up north of that, there is a large mountain. And then, like, to the west and kind of south, there are mountain ranges. So it's kind of like the city of Palermo is in this bowl that opens out onto the northern, or onto the Mediterranean.
Well, then, as I am looking around,
like there's, where do you want to go and what are you looking for?
I am going to look around and I track my eyes and I look for the darkest section of the city. The people who are looking for someone, whoever, they are the ones who are holding light. They are in the light. I am looking for the people not in the light. People who do not want to be seen. Most likely are kin. But in this case, I'm looking for a specific kin. So I'm looking for a dark section of the city.
Okay. So we want to stay in the historic center. We're going to stay in the historic area, which is kind of... So we're not going to worry about the northern section of the city. We're going to stay in the historic middle of the city. Go ahead and...
What a note would be.
You probably want to tend towards the marina. And what is now the Giardino Garibaldi and the Via Vittorio Emanuele, right? It's one of those the Via Vittorio Emanuele and the Giardino Garibaldi were there and have been there for centuries. but they got renamed after Garibaldi and Victorio Emanuele when the unification happened. So, you know, what it was at one point you no longer have, but that area near the marina is the Giardino Garibaldi is like a statue garden now, but it's made out of fig trees. It was like an entire like orchard of fig trees, and they're like the youngest tree that they've dated is 700 years old. So you want to hang out in the dark, hang out in a bunch of fig trees in September near the docks.
So as I'm looking around, I look and I see this dark area, and I let the sea breeze come in and hit me with the smell of the marina and these trees, and I'm like, let's go that way. It smells nice, so plus one, and also very dark. I don't think the armored people will be there very much.
We shall see.
I have nothing else. I'm pretty sure I may not be faster than those shadow men, but I have to be faster than them. Unless you want to race, in which case we can race to the.
I'm not interested in racing.
Fine, we shall walk there.
There is no reason to draw attention to ourselves.
No fun. Pietro would have raced me. Fine, let us go then. Walking along at a normal pace.
So you get to roll wits investigation.
What's investigation? Okay. Ooh.
2 successes.
Oh no, it's
2 successes.
2 successes.
With 2 successes, as you make your way towards this gardened area, it'll be a lot nicer in the 19th century when, you know, they kind of like make little walking paths and put little statuaries and little fountains and sitting area. But now it's dark. There are trees. There are fig trees. There's a heaviness in the air. The smell of the ocean. That scent of both salt water and seaweed. It just kind of permeates your skin. And as you make your way further into the darkness, a voice calls out. Well, you aren't from around here.
No, we are not. We have come to visit this pleasant city.
And a shadow detaches from one of these trees. Not a shadow like the La Sombra, but just a figure that was standing in darkness, perhaps. Or using the natural darkness of these thick grove of trees overgrowing one another to hide themselves. I hear you are looking for someone.
Yes. We have a letter of introduction for a Servatius.
Servatius. And the figure emerges further from the trees. You can now see that it is mostly male presenting. Dark, black, some sort of tanned skins. A little ragged, but not enough to be commented on more than just perhaps very poor, right? Like, not wholly inappropriate, but probably would stand out wrongly in a nicer section of town. Leather wraps on his arms and legs. His head is bald. There are tattoos running along the scalp. And a kind of gauntness that one would expect in a corpse. This pulled tight dryness of the skin along the jaw and various other skeletal features of the face and neck. And on the left side of his face, it looks like he had almost been in a fire. And these are like third-degree burns that had scarred over. Well, I answer to the name of Servatius. And it is unique that the day after the election of a new prince to this city, we have guests.
Well, news travels fast.
Usually it takes more than 12 hours.
Well, when there are so many other guests in the city, shouldn't be too surprising.
I take it you mean our guests with the sharp, pointy objects.
The church will respond to whatever was unleashed here.
Yes, it is most frustrating. But I have given my name. And you
Of
are?
course. Extending the letter. I am Sir Dane, and this is the good lady Elaine.
And he will take the letter. He doesn't open it right away. He kind of like is evaluating you. You can feel the weight of his gaze upon you. It's rare we get a traveler and one of your ilk here. But you say you come with a purpose. And he'll kind of not quite play with the letter in his hand, but kind of like flip it through his fingers, almost like a playing card for a second. And then when it gets back to his hand, the seal has been slit, like with the nail of his thumb. Ah. You've met the Lady Giuseppina.
Yes.
I trust she is well. At last you spoke.
She seems to be in good humor, but at the same time, there is some younger upstarts that have their eyes on what they think is a prize.
Ah, yes. It's almost tempting to let them win it for a short period of time, no?
No, the people do not deserve that.
True. That's why I said almost tempting. But come, we shall have perhaps a more pleasant conversation. A night brings a bit of a chill. And others. And he offers a hand to Elena to provide
I will
escort.
take it.
He will lead you back through the trees towards the port to a building that you probably didn't even notice that you passed. The Chiesa di Santa Maria del Porto Salvo. It's an old church. It's a little odd. It's on the angle the way it is. But he'll lead you through the side door, down through the passage gate, into the mausoleum beneath the church.
As we're approaching the church and it becomes clear that that's the direction we're going, I'll take like a quick moment to like look behind me at Sir Ludain, and I'll be like, see, I'm like, hey, look, another person who likes to stay at churches. It's like you guys have things in common.
It's very useful.
And usually built well.
Oh, fair enough. It's a very nice church.
We don't need to go inside it, though. And he'll lead you, like I said, through the churchyard. Well, not quite the churchyard. There isn't really a churchyard. This is a small little tiny church. And into the mausoleum underneath through the side door. The steps are polished. Well, they're marble and they are polished, but not from any intention, but from just decades and centuries of wear. That slight dip in the treads of each of the stairs where feet have crossed numerous times. He leads you down, and while it is dark, there is a small light candle at the bottom, just enough to kind of provide enough light for someone to see. Barely, but there. And at the bottom of the steps, a little longer than one would expect for such a small church, not like a story, but closer to 2, like 30, 40 steps. There's a heavy metal gate that doesn't creak when he pushes it open. It should. You look at this gate and you're like, this should, just given the proximity to salt water, this iron should be creaky as all hell. But it doesn't. It's well oiled, well maintained, well cared for. And as he walks in, he kind of picks up a longer candelabra, single candlestick, and leads you around in a slightly circuitous manner. It takes a minute, 2, maybe 4, before it opens into a small room. Not really a room, more an opening. And there's a door, this wooden door with iron bands across it. It's arched. But remind me, how tall is Sir Ludain?
Sir Ludain is 6'1".
So you don't totally have to duck to get through this, but you kind of want to like lean your head to the side, perhaps. Otherwise, it might, if you were wearing your helm, it would definitely be hitting the top.
Not wearing the helm this evening. No.
Yeah. And the door opens, again, should be creaking, should have this feel of wear, just purely from how close you all are to the sea, but there isn't. Instead, it opens into a corridor. He closes the door. And here, the space, instead of being granite or marble, is tile. Red terracotta tiles. Mosaics. Intricately detailed mosaics. The walls are done in a art style that I don't know about Sir Ludain. Elena, remind me. You spent time in various
I'm very well traveled.
You're very well traveled. So you could probably roll what is it? You could roll intelligence craft or intelligence academics. You would require a different level of difficulty with academics, but intelligence craft or intelligence academics.
Same difference to me. They both have nothing in them. But I will spend a point to get an auto success. Because
Yeah.
Because that was going to happen.
Double threes. With one success, it becomes... You've seen the like in Rome. In ancient Roman buildings. But no one's ever been able to recreate it. You know. They're very unique looking.
Then as we come in and I begin to observe it all, I'm like, wow, this is... Are these Roman? And like, I don't touch anything, but like, I definitely like examine it.
Depends on how you define Roman.
Of the ancient variety?
I got bored.
Look. And I look at Sir Ludain and I say, see, this is how you spend your after. This is how you spend your undeath. This is what I'm talking about when I say fun things to do. Getting out of the house. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying. Thank you so much for inviting us down here, Cervantes.
And he leads
Servatius.
you... It takes like another 5 minutes of him walking along, and he will start, you know, if you express any... Because you expressed interest in his, we the audience know, frescoes, true Roman frescoes, which are almost impossible to recreate because of what they did with the blaster. And he starts talking about the various depictions and scenes that there are here. A lot of them are of Roman history, particularly the Punic Wars. And Sicily was a hotbed during the Punic Wars. Originally, it belonged to the Greeks. The Carthaginians had tried to take some of the southern portion of the island for a stopover port, but Sicilian pirates were really kind of not into that. They were like, nah, we're here. And then the Romans, well, the Romans got the Sicilian pirates on their side by promising certain things and then, of course, never delivering. But that's how the Carthaginians didn't end up controlling Sicily, which is why Hannibal had to go all the way around and up the mountains and down. And realistically, you know, so many comments. But Servatius definitely talks like he was there. These were, you know, it's like he's talking about this particular ship captain that's being depicted here, and how on the trireme, and how well he's, leading his troops. And it was such a shame when he ended up marrying that, northern girl. Her family was way too involved in the politics. Definitely got him killed. Totally got him killed. It was her fault, and kind of. It's another like 5 minutes of these stories of, well, he's talking about these frescoes that he apparently did in his off time. And until you get to another kind of one of those arched doorways, again leads you in to a nicely appointed seating area in, again, a very Roman style. There are 3 couches kind of arranged around a center table. Not quite for the lounging dining that the extreme upper classes would do during the imperial period, but kind of more for the casual conversation that would occur after dinner, right? In most other wealthy households. And he kind of like snaps his fingers twice, and a person kind of appears. Kind of picture if the Rat King, in any depiction of the Nutcracker, this anthropomorphized rodent,
Yes.
very protruding teeth, large ears, no tail, but you kind of get the impression that rodent and bipedal, and they kind of lay out some glasses, and a very large crystal jug is presented and kind of poured for each of you. I don't know, have any of you enjoyed blood wine?
Yes.
It's a very nice blood
Lovely.
wine.
Something I first had when I went to Portugal.
Oh, very nice. I do like their vino tinto. Maybe we should try. I've heard some interesting things about their white wines. I'm not sure that I like them. They aren't adding enough.
So, you've cleverly laid down the roots here. I'm surprised you're not the one who has taken up the responsibility for the city.
I tend to keep to myself. My own clans, on occasion, look to me for certain advice, but politics requires being in public. And I have taken the position of being a truly neutral individual in this city.
I see. In that case, what are your thoughts on your new prince?
For a 7.5 foot tall barbarian who cut the man's arm off, he's easy to work with.
Larger than I was expecting, but I have the picture.
A Norseman, what do you expect?
Usually about 6 inches short.
Kindred do have some interesting quirks. Look, he spent the last century brooding on a mountain in a ruin.
So what brings him here for a crown?
Well, his was the mountain outside the city, and the ruin was outside the city. And I guess he decided he didn't want to let it go to a Ventru asshole.
I see. Neither of those sound like individuals who would unleash demons.
No, I'm pretty sure, given the accounts that I have heard about the demon's appearance at the Elysium, it was such a cluster. I arranged a beautiful event, perfectly secure. And then apparently somebody else brought in musical talent that brought in a demon.
I know that music can conjure emotion, but a demon, that's no.
There was something about the box. The Lusombre are all up in arms about it. It took away their shadows. Have you ever seen a Lusombre in the light?
Quite often, actually.
Yes, but picture it when they actually get the floodlights, a torch pointed directly on their face, and they can't hide in their shadows. It was oddly satisfying.
But it is as severe as we heard.
I would say so. It brought the Elysium to a dead end. And caused the new prince injury enough to delay his duel for a week.
He also does not strike me as one who would make an enemy that will unleash a demon.
Apparently, it was the wrong place at the wrong time. He was escorting a young lady. The roses, you know how they are.
Yes, but rarely have I heard of a rose being tied to the demonic.
By all accounts, neither of party were involved. They were just there when the box opened.
Okay, so this was... So the box was containing the demon?
Perhaps. What I have been able to confirm is the new prince was providing escort to the young lady as she left to speak with one of these musicians on a side channel, room of the Elysium. There was a giant gushing sound like an explosion. I haven't heard anything like that in almost, well, this is the last time Vesuvius decided to be in pain. And all of a sudden the shadows were gone, sucked down the tunnel. Then screaming from the young lady. Then the Lusombre come running back down the tunnel. A few moments, the screaming stops. Our new prince is apparently, well, when you're 7.5 feet tall inside an aqueduct tunnel, you kind of are the target for whatever will have happened, be it demonic, occult, or purely mundane. He was injured poorly. Then he escorted the lady back to the other ladies of the Elysium, and he was receiving treatment from George, as it were. George provided security as the two Lusombre made their way back down the tunnel and found the empty box. No sign of the musician, no sign of a demon, except the next evening we all awakened to reports of dead priests throughout the city of Palermo and ash piles on church altars.
I can understand now why lord of this island is as vigorous about finding those responsible now that I have the full picture.
I will further add, uh, he has sent the children to attend to this matter.
I figured.
With open card. Where are you staying?
Josephine helped arrange for us to stay with a fine gentleman, I believe Catalano is his name.
Carmine Catalano?
Yes.
Not bad. He is of the bloodline, but not yet fully one of us.
See.
The rumor has it that he may serve a while longer in his current position before he partakes of a trip further east along the island and then perhaps even further east.
Yeah, he has been good to us, so.
He is very intelligent man. Wise in the ways of playing for both the kindred and the kind. And I know his guest house is fully warded, so you don't have to worry about any of those problems. But yeah, my Lady Elena, what brings you to this wonderful island? We rarely get one of your kind here. At least not for long.
Well, that was the plan. I came to visit. I've heard much of Sicily, and an opportunity arose for me to find my way here. So I landed down in Syracuse, and from there, things only became more and more interesting. I met many people. You know, as you say, I don't stay long in many places, so it was nice meeting so many people so quickly. Then the excitement of an Elysium. I've never been part of one of those before. Met many, many interesting people. And then, that interesting uh, situation with the demon felt across the island. Well, I had to know what was happening. And Sir Ludain so graciously offered to accompany me and my friend, who at the moment is sleeping off the travels, to come here and see what all the excitement was about. It's not every day a demon is released. And as you say, the La Sombre lose their shadows.
Rumor has it from Lord de la Sombra that they have confirmed that the demon is no longer on the island of Sicily. Apparently he was summoned to Aachen.
I heard. And so far, it doesn't seem they have returned, so I have to assume the demon was maybe slain by whoever was foolish enough to summon them.
Perhaps not yet. I mean, it has only been 2 weeks. From here to Aachen, perhaps a month of travel. Depending on how they choose to go, of course. But I have heard of the Prince of Aachen. They are unique.
In what way?
Well, it's rare that a true Bruja embraces such pageantry.
Well, there is always time for the first to arise.
Hmm.
And they seem to be ambitious, so, it is exciting to see what they continue to accomplish if they have the opportunity to accomplish it.
Wow. There were many who said that ambition was the bane of a particular man and was the cause of his death. I disagree. I believe it's just straight up, well, politics. And pissing off a woman, but not everyone agrees.
I say we live very long lives, and we are around those who do not. So, it is much more interesting to watch it all happen. At least that's what I am happy to sit as this all occurs around us. And the closer I am to the front row, well, it's just a better view.
Also true. I am almost interested to see what will happen.
Almost.
At a certain point, it all becomes repetitive.
Even the demon?
Demons only want one thing: the corruption of your soul. It's all in trade. Now, I will admit, it's mildly entertaining when the demon goes out and murders 70 priests in a night. But that's usually them attempting to make a statement, perhaps show up somebody or something, make themselves look better to the public.
I mean, they were trapped in a box, you say? I could see how maybe they were humiliated.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. That is probably what I believe. But at the end of the day, you look to the east, you look to the west. It is where what the kine are doing that is where the most interesting things are happening. The patterns continue. The wheel turns, but occasionally, the kindred surprise. Kindred rarely do, but the kine will surprise you. And that is what the reaction of the kindred is interesting. For example, I am intrigued by the fact that you two, and your friend, who were safe from scrutiny, have volunteered to attempt to find this traitor for Lord La Sombra. Rumor has it he's already charged one of his own with finding the answer in 4 nights, or, well, you could guess the or.
He will take responsibility for his lack of findings. Yes.
Yes.
That makes it sound like a quest, though. This is more like a sightseeing activity.
Your sightseeing activity.
I tried to dissuade them both, but they would not listen.
How often do you get to visit a location under such scrutiny? You hear about it all the time, obviously, especially in recent times. But to come by, especially with no attachment, come by, see what is happening, and if we get out, well, an interesting story. And if we find them, well, then that just makes the tale that's more exciting.
I can give you a name, at least one that I've heard. Its accuracy I cannot guarantee.
That is more than what we have. I welcome it.
Ludovico.
And do you believe the fool is still in the city?
You're the one who wishes to have a look around.
See, now this is the sense of whimsy I was telling you about, Sir Ludain. This is the fun. It's the chase.
Is Ludovico the musician?
Of some renown.
And as to the rose, what is the connection between the two of them?
Nothing I have been able to gather at the moment. Although this rose does have the ear now of the prince of the city.
That's what roses do.
They also wilt.
This young lady, again, a rose. Is she of some talent, wealth, beauty, all of the above?
Perhaps. She does associate herself with Camelina Farana and Rosalinda, the other major rose in the city. But the rose you are asking about, her name is Marozia, and you will find her currently probably with her current husband. A noble of some wealth.
Kindred are kind.
Well, he's still awake during the day, if that answers that question.
I see. Well, I am less concerned about the finding of the culprit, considering that the children are already looking. My concern is more to the church's response.
Mm.
The Pope is looking to show strength. And there will be a pound of flesh exacted from this city.
And yet, Friedrich still holds sway. But you are not wrong. It's why I'm quite enjoying my comforts at home.
Young men
this much?
filled with the ideas of violence and courage are poor men to send on an errand like this. And yet I see so many young faces in this city.
Yes, it's such a shame so many of them have gone missing. Not in actually ways of ours. Us. More and more of them have fallen afoul of the worst thing that can happen to young, unknowing men on this island.
with these.
Alcohol and a seawall.
Mm,
I see you've never been to Dover.
I didn't like it. It looked pretentious. They all thought the white was some sort of statement of purity or some sort. I quite enjoyed watching a whole bunch of them drown.
Or the same. My concern is for both kindred and kind that are here locally and how the church treats them.
Then we are in agreement, sir.
So we both individuals who care about those who live here, not those who go on errands for men with really big chairs and very small minds. What are we going to do about them?
Well, I was going to have a conversation with my prince about what he wanted me to do about them, and then persuade my prince what he wanted me to do about them to be what I wanted to do about them.
Again, any violence against them will invite more. They need a victory to crawl back to their home with.
That's why I'm kind of tempted to direct, perhaps, certain unsavory members. There are certain types, you know the kind, who do not
Yes, I do.
value the understanding that we hold a position in this world. There are three that I can think of that I might send them after. Properly arranged, all of them, well, young, angry, and believing that they could take on anyone. I was tempted to send them after a werewolf, but they might give the werewolf indigestion, and that might cause more problems for me.
There are lichens on this island.
Oh, not on this one, but Malta is not
No.
far.
Good to know.
The Knights Hospitaller and the Knights of Malta apparently allow such kind.
Yes, I find that one doesn't allow lichens, they just happen.
True, and I have no desire to get involved with them, but considering that these young, angry problems could have been sent after others, instead offer them up to the Inquisition. Here is your demon summoners. Just cut their tongues out first.
It sounds like you have things well at hand.
Well, you're always welcome to find other uses or ideas. I am always open to new ideas when it comes to removing the church from my neighborhood.
Again, they can be a force for good. There are some genuinely good within the church. But those that want to play politics with the church will never let the good outshine the bad.
Hmm, true. And that is where we're going to take the break for the evening. Perfect moment. So stretch, bio, refresh, do all of those good things. And when we come back, we'll see what's going on and maybe what, Elena wants to do. You know, she's here for the adventure, right? So it could be entertaining. We can see. But stretch, bio, refresh, do all those good things. And we'll see you in a little bit, everybody. Hello again. Welcome back. We hope you're refreshed, you stretched, you bioed, you did all those wonderful things. And now we are into the last little bit of our wonderful story tonight. So, as Servatius pours another round for each of you, he kind of leans back in these low backed, semicircular couches again. Not quite the what we people talk about as the dining room couches for the uber wealthy during the Roman period, but still nicely reclining, resting. The rolled pillow on one side that you kind of lean to one side as he swirls the glass of blood wine. So, what else can I do for you this fine evening?
Well, you know, I Sir Rodin has been so kind as to bring me to Palermo and assist me in this journey. And I asked him where he wanted to go to, my treat, because, a thank you. It's a nice thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
However, he does not know what to do. Do you have any suggestions? I mean, I know that there are a lot of unsavory people up there at the moment, but I'm sure there's something. I might be able to get Sir Ludain for his graciousness.
What do you like about the theater?
I find those entertainments usually are for individuals more patient than I.
True. None of the fight rings are open given the further presence of, the holier than thou. Hmm.
But Belena, I'm already having a wonderful time. Have you given up on finding the summoner of demons already?
I am very good at multitasking, Sir Ludain.
Ah,
And plus, it's a musician we are looking for. If we're looking for the nicer things in the city, we might find them or someone who knows of them nearby. Win-win.
if he is somehow tied to a rose, he's still in the city. He is likely already playing this evening in someone's parlor.
Hmm.
Do you know of any... You know what? I'll ask you later. I'll ask you on the way out. That is not important now.
And now you have me intrigued. What would you ask this knight that you would not wish to discuss in front of little old me?
Oh, no, I would like to discuss it with you. It is him I'd like to keep the secret from, at least for now.
Ah, come.
Well,
His reaction
in
would be
that
telling.
case, thank you, and I shall give you two some privacy. Whilst the rest of the wine stands, slight bow, and will go and find where the cheese is hidden.
So you're gonna sneak around in the Nosferatu's den?
No, I am going to
Just go straight
walk,
out?
just go straight out, back to that one
Church.
well, not fully out to the church. I'll going to actually go and appreciate the frescoes now that Elena is not pointing things out.
Oh, there you go.
I thought it was very educational. And then as I wait for Sir Ludain to walk out, I say, I would say he's being modest, but I am really starting to think that that's just who he is as a person.
There are many like him.
I've not met very many, if any, in my lifetime, as of now. Maybe but 4. Not that I remember. However, I know that you've been here for a while, and what I am to ask is, I've learned that Sir Ludain is able to stay out in the sun a little bit. And I was wondering if you had heard about a location around here that would have the best sunrise. Or the best sunset.
Sunrise, I can mention. Sunsets get kind of complicated just given the layout of the city. There's
And is this
usually a
why I
mountain range in the way.
A shame. Well, then a sunrise. What would be the best location?
You could go to the piers. Sunrise over the water. Very romantic, I've heard.
I'm sure that he would very much appreciate that.
Are you
Just a little...
trying to do a nice thing for the caitiff?
Yes.
How interesting.
I'm an interesting woman.
You truly are.
Well, thank you very much. And that said, I'm very fascinated by your knowledge of the olden times, of your times. If ever you are looking for someone to speak with, especially as people, are up there being unsavory, feel free to call me out. I would love to hear more of your stories.
If you wish to hear more of my stories, we can meet again. Let us say in 4 nights that will give us the entertainment portion to find out if this Lustombra will live or not.
4 days sounds wonderful to me. Shall I meet you here or up by the fig trees again?
Oh, let us make things interesting. Meet me at the Piazza Sant'Uno.
At the Piazza Sant'Uno it will be.
I know some interesting places that you might appreciate, given your general attitude towards things.
Well, then I am looking very much forward to our meeting in 4 days. Thank you so very much for the company and also for all your amazing recommendations. I look forward to seeing what the city has to show for the next 4 days.
By the way, I'm also keeping the book on this island, or at least in this city. If you had any interesting opinions on chance that you wish to facilitate.
Let me learn a little bit more about what is going on, and then we shall see.
But of course, let me escort you to your companion, then. So,
thank you very much.
happy to oblige. And he will escort you out to the frescoes where Sir Ludain is waiting. And then lead you, the 2 of you, out. It's interesting, you exit the same location, but the tunnels are not exactly the same ones you walked down.
Classic little maze, I love it.
you know, he's got to do something to keep his privacy. We'll go with privacy. And he will leave you and say, have a pleasant evening.
Thank you.
Well, then, if you say they're at a tavern somewhere, I say we should learn.
No tavern. This is somebody who cultivates being known by those who are worth being known by. So he is playing privately in some wealthy individual's home. Probably a small gathering with pretty young things to impress.
Well, then I say we start walking and listening. It does not seem that this is a place that is very lively at the moment. I'm sure not very many places are.
Again, reason for it being private. A way to distract themselves from the unpleasantness.
A distraction for them is an easy opening for us. Well, we came from that way, and that was not all the rich houses. And we're over here now. So it has to be somewhere over there, right?
Look around you. Look for the place with not the newest money, but not the oldest either.
You can roll me a perception alertness.
Sure. Let's give that a shot. No successes.
And you can also.
I'll try.
Oh, look, 2, 3.
Ooh.
3 successes. As you wander through town, heading north away from the gardens and the church, along the seawall, sort of, there's the beach and the mile, the road and the in between. You tend towards the larger villas and piazzas, and you come across a couple that are slightly closer to the cathedral and certain other areas of town. You can find the nicer, wealthy patrons of the arts in this area of town. One of whom, if you talk to a couple people, they'll mention Kamalina Farana and the salons that she runs, but she isn't hosting anything today. She's, none of her salons are open. You would hear mention of the Teatro Bellini. Then you would make the connection really easily with the name Rosalinda, who is the other Toreador, who isn't tied to this Ludovico. And you would hear one of the churches is open, and you can hear a choral performance with a very striking baritone soloist.
Well, it sounds like it might be someone of interest to go check out.
Eh, let's go find some religion.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get closer.
Closer to...
The church.
The church.
Yeah.
And in turn, the baritone.
Mm-hmm. It's right off of the, well, what will be called the Villa Vittorio Emanuele and the Via Roma. You know, it's almost like these are the two main, one's north-south and one's east-west, and they've been there for centuries, but, you know, they rename things because... but it's further up the Via Vittoria Emanuele, and it is San Matteo al Casalro. It is a beautiful, well, the outside now is a beautiful Baroque church. At the time period, it was a relatively standard kind of church. But there is a apartment block across the street. I'm just gonna make my life easier so that I can just keep doing this. Tell you where we are on the map. Makes my life easier.
There.
And inside the church, with its beautiful acoustics, you see a small group of choral singers with a very distinct baritone. They are singing a very unique new piece, kind of avant-garde.
As we walk in, I want to take notes in the church. Do they have a font near the front door?
No, because what do you mean? Like one of the small fonts or a baptismal font?
The small fonts.
Yes, the holy water at the door is there's a slightly larger one in like a clamshell or style sculpture.
I'll be in a second. I'll go over,
Mm-hmm.
and this is why you always wear gloves, kids. Take a small vial,
Mm-hmm.
collect some of the water,
Mm-hmm.
plug it, put it on my person,
Okay.
and then go and meet Elena and take a seat.
Yes, there are actually a number of chairs that have been brought in. Remembering, of course, that this is the period when the church didn't have pews and you didn't sit. But this is for a choral performance.
Performance.
So they did bring in some benches, basically. There's a wide swath of the public kind of here. In the front, you can see very obviously the very, very wealthy of town. You know, one or two, probably tied to Frederick's court in here in Palermo. In like actual chairs with cushions, and then further, you know, there are a couple probably guild masters and you know that kind of like, and there are a couple benches that are open to the general public. Because of course, any performance in the churches must be open to the public. The only people who make money on that kind of performance is the church.
I find a nice seat, somewhat open in around the middle. And I sit there and And I very much just pay attention to the performer, really putting on the show of just like, whoa, wow, what an amazing voice. Wow, I've never heard such a thing before. But without saying anything aloud, but more body language, if anyone were to look.
I mean, it is very different. It's kind of in a German dialect, but some Latin. And
Ahead of their time.
I mean, we still think of it as a killer piece. Literally. Um, it's very risque, particularly for its performance in the church. It's, as you kind of come in, it's like there are a couple love songs, but then there's a whole bunch of like songs about morals and drinking and gambling.
We are in Sicily.
Yeah, but this particular work is very unique. It's brand new. You wouldn't have heard it before. Um, then it goes for quite a while. You came in probably about a third of the way through, and it goes for another hour or two. Um, there's two longer, kind of very obviously spiritual pieces, but those two spiritual pieces are kind of intermixed with, Ovid and the erotic elegies, like first kind of really avant-garde kind of stuff.
About an hour in, I with this having no insight, I start looking at the people probably in the front row,
Mm-hmm.
um to see if any of them kind of stand out, um being more well dressed than the others, or being high class in comparison to the general admission.
You can roll me perception, either etiquette or politics.
Definitely going to be etiquette. Perception, etiquette.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Reroll those two
that's
tens.
spicy.
Luckily, the one doesn't detract. So, two successes. So, like I said, there are very obviously wealthy people in the front. Is there a particular type of person that you're looking for, or someone?
In particular, I'm looking for anyone who would fit this description of the roses, or the prince would stand out. So probably the roses, or any
Oh, so you're looking for kindred to stand out.
yeah, kindred. Yeah, kindred in particular. Um, or like the husband of like a rose, like that sort of vibe.
You don't see anyone that looks like they're probably a ghoul. That would be, of a noble status, because that's probably who they are. You do see standing along one wall, um, a Knight Templar.
Hmm.
In armor and cassock, but not wearing their helmet and not carrying the sword in the church. They're better than that. Um, you also see kind of like off to the shadow, slightly behind, in one of the side chapels, slightly behind the Knight Templar and to the left, um, another kindred that looks wearing again all black, very dark colors, but his skin and hair are pure white. You might have confused him for an albino, except his eyes are not red.
Interesting. And as we're looking there, in the particularly scandalous song, where people are probably like a little more squirmy, I'll poke at Sir Ludain and I will like point them out with my head movement and eyes rather than, being like, over there, look at that guy. A little more subtler than that.
There's like eyes go over, there's a small nod. But Ludain's attention is more on the singing.
You can roll a perception alertness on the singers if y'all want. Because that would be separate than the perception etiquette. One, two, three, 4 successes. Very nice. 2.
Ooh.
2 successes. The baritone who you heard is unique, and there's something off about him, Sir Ludain, but you can't quite put your finger on it. Elena, at first you think he was a kindred, but then you realize he's not. He's something else. And you realize, as you kind of like take that moment to focus in on this baritone and come back to this moment, that both the Templar and the Gangrel give the appearance of being men-at-arms, vampires of a martial fashion, shall we say. But they're too focused on this singer. They've ignored people coming in. They ignored your entrance, for example. And as you take this moment, you realize there's something about the music. There's something about this singer. He's not a kindred. He's not a ghoul. He's not, but you can't, it's hard to not think about him. It's hard to turn away from him in this performance. Everyone is riveted by his performance. You can't look away. The music is so ethereal. It's no one's reacting. I mean, that was an entire joke about dicks and no one in a church and no one was saying anything. But it's too good. And then that's when your brain kind of refocuses. It's too good. And with that, there's this moment, this flash of, what time is it? How long have we been here? And guess what, PB? You get to roll to see if you can leave.
Oh. Okay, sure. What am I
Is
rolling
that
to leave?
self-control?
Yes.
Roll. Oh,
Wait,
okay.
what abilities do you have? Because wait, I want to see if you have one of those abilities. Because
My virtues,
no, your disciplines.
my disciplines. I only have a chemistry and
Oh, you have chemistry
obfuscate.
though. You have chemistry. I will let you add your dots in chemistry to your self-control
Oh,
because
okay.
it makes sense. Technically,
Mm-hmm.
other people don't get to roll that, but it makes sense given what chemistry is.
All right, let's see if we get to leave.
So that's 2 successes. You know that you need to go. And right now, you can kind of force yourself to ignore the music. You could leave by yourself.
What a shame that I have a friend, who I refuse to leave behind because he would never leave me behind. Oh, this is what you get for having good friends. He won't leave behind. I will like start like moving almost stiffly, and when I realize like, hey, wait, no, 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 and I look over to Ladane, and like I nudge him with like my leg, with his leg, and like, Ladane, you gotta go, bud.
So you can roll that perception alertness to see if you react to. And because you have somebody actively attempting to shake you, I'll let you lower the DC to 5.
Okay.
You have one
That's one
success.
success.
You can you realize that she is shaking you, and you can kind of like turn to try and figure out why, but you can acknowledge her. But the music is so good. It's really
Uh,
calming after like the stress of the last few days and all of these meetings with all of these high important people who,
now,
occasionally just
he,
want to eat you.
here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 things at play.
Yes.
Actually, 4. First, Udain's self-control is a 4.
Mm-hmm.
Second, his willpower is a 9, which means
Mm-hmm.
any ensorcelment is diff 9.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also a level 8 on his path
Mm-hmm.
of chivalry, which has some mild supernatural effects. But the most important thing is his nature,
Mm-hmm.
which is defender.
Mm-hmm.
Ludane, I'm a lover, not a fighter. Ludane,
And
work up.
and it's with with all this that if there is if someone is endangered by this and is making me try and act against my nature, I get a roll.
You do. But before you didn't even know that there was something to be rolling against. Now you do.
So what would you like me to roll?
Pardon me, um so the joy of this system and the reason why we took Dark Ages revised is because how great it integrates all of the systems together. So, You can roll. You can roll self-control,
Mhm.
and you can lower the difficulty to 5
Okay.
for your defender, and you can lower the difficulty to 4 for your difficulty of ensorcelment. Now, technically, I did roll for this beforehand, and he would have beaten that for. He rolled too well. He would
Fair
have beat
enough.
that diff 9.
I'm going to spend a willpower.
Willpower is good. Three
That
successes
is
plus 1 is 4.
4. Yeah.
4 successes. You are fully aware that this music is way too good, and you are should not stay. You should leave. But with 4 successes, what I'll tell you that Elena didn't get with only 2, it's not targeted. It's not about you. It's not even about anybody else in this space. It just is, unfortunately, a side effect of their being. Now,
We need to go
what you
out the back.
choose to do with it is your information, but you know that it's not a targeted, like somebody's
yeah.
attempting to cause you harm.
That's what I've been trying to tell you, thing.
And we both get up. I want to walk specifically past, not the Templar, but our pale friend.
Yep. And as you do, you would see how you would both see, and I'm not going to make you roll for it, that the nails are just a little too long.
Yeah. And with much practice,
but very obviously
dealing...
not lupine kindred, but not lupine.
Yeah. Again, with much practice in dealing with gangrels in trouble.
This is true.
Is when I'm going to spend some blood.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to spend 2 blood to increase my strength to 6.
Mm-hmm.
I also have potence 1.
Yep.
And I am just going to pick up this small man.
Yeah, he is actually very slight.
And I am just going to carry him out.
So you're going to carry out the gangrel, ignoring the Templar.
The Templar.
The Templar. By the way, the Templar is kindred. He's just a Templar.
If he can't get himself out of this, that's on him.
Oh, I'll hit him in the stomach as we walk by. Like, wake up.
You hit him in the stomach?
I hit him, like, wake up, bud. You're on the job.
So between Sir Ludain carrying out his companion, you're not sure what their relationship is, and Elena hitting him in the stomach on the way out, the Templar can snap forward enough to kind of slightly stagger after the two of you.
Get out of here. This is bad. Bad magic.
And
the gangrel definitely starts to become like the Templar, as you exit the church and like kind of go a little bit further down so that the sound of the music dulls to music but without any distinction of voice, kind of becomes more and more aware, as you all do yourselves. The gangrel takes a little bit longer. Side effect of
I'm used to
sentence.
this. I'm just like, yep.
Like a sack of potatoes?
Yeah. Well, first it was like the full, like, I have a mannequin. Then as we get outside, I throw him over the shoulder.
Pope, I want you to understand, the minute you said that and the way you were carrying it, I was like, Reminds me of one of my favorite movies of all time. Yep. Mm-hmm. You were looking for a few good men, and so was I. Uh-huh. Okay.
This is not the first goth gangrel twink that Ludane has had to pick up from a dangerous situation.
And I'm like, well, you're carrying the gangrel. I'm a little bit behind them with this Templar, allowing him to get his feet back under him. And I'm like, come on, baby guy, wake up.
Thank you,
Wake up
madam.
already.
Thank you. Thank you. I do not believe I have had the pleasure of your acquaintance.
Not too many have. And I'll offer my hand and I'll say, I'm Elena. It is nice to meet you, although I wish it were under better circumstances.
The city is very strange lately. But hopefully our new prince can address that.
One can hope. And is this gangrel your friend, or?
Giacomo is... Have you ever seen a ferret?
I am familiar.
And you know what happens when you feed a ferret? They never leave.
I know someone who you will be good friends with. And I'm like, Ludane, this is Ludane. This is. Oh, I'm so sorry. I did not catch your name.
You may call me George.
Well, George, this is my friend Sir Ludane. He also has a ferret friend.
Thank you for carrying Giacomo. He looks to be coming around.
I'm used to this already.
And Elena, you can see on his face the journey that goes through that. It's like he's about to say thank you, and then you say, no, I'm used to this already. Oh, wait. How are you used to Giacomo? Have you have to deal with this before? Oh my god, I'm so sorry you had to deal with this. I apologize for anything he may have done. Wait, you aren't actually mentioning Giacomo, so maybe it's somebody else. Oh my god, I don't know that I want Giacomo to meet this individual, because I think that would just end poorly for the universe. And like his face goes through this entire transition in like 30 seconds, 15 seconds.
I'm like, George, it's fine. It's okay, George, come back. It's fine, it's okay.
This is why I will be pleased once the prince establishes some semblance of a court, and I can have a night off.
Well, let's worry less about nights off and more about days coming.
Yes. Do you have a safe place for? I can take you to my villa.
Is it nearby?
And then he'll kind of like take this moment to kind of look around where they are.
Because I've been beelining it, but not with celerity yet. Back towards our host's abode.
Yes, your host's abode is actually further south, toward nearby, but not quite. And he said, here, through this alley. And he'll like lead you through these kind of like alleyways to a small-ish villa, right? Like, it doesn't take up the entire city block. It only takes up like a quarter of it. But, you know, it's off the Vittorio Emanuele. It's, you know, further down towards proceeding towards where your guest house is. It's maybe like 4 or 5 blocks from the guest house.
It's fine. I do not know how old either of them are or what paths they're on. I know nothing about these two. I just know that we need to all get inside.
And he leads you like through some trees into the door of his villa. And a manservant, obviously a ghoul, comes, and by this point, Giacomo has definitely kind of started reacting, and he's kind of, well, acting like a weasel.
Just relax and go with it.
Not usually what I say, but it's not the worst thing I've heard. Honestly, alright, we can go there. And he kind of like, they turn into the villa, into this vicolo, and leads you up some into this villa, up some steps, and then into this space. The manservant comes and closes the door, and George turns to him and says, could you make up 2 more bedrooms, please? Thank you. Dawn should be approaching in the near half hour. Is there anything I can gain you? You will be welcome in my home. And he kind of gestures to you as you cross. It's obviously it's that level of wealth where the materials are, high class marble, fine terracotta, well done stucco, the tiles are beautiful, but there's no excessive decoration. There is a small statue of the Holy Family in a small alcove right inside the door, but after that, it's very tastefully plain. What you might expect from an aesthetic monk.
Put Giacomo down.
Mm-hmm. And he kind of like weasels around, kind of like comes around Elena in that kind of, and kind of turns around behind George.
Oh, but it's nice to meet you too.
Ludane fiddles with his coin purse.
Nothing is touched.
No. He's grabbing 2 gold coins, and he is going to extend his hand to George.
And no, my friend, my hospitality is, you are more than welcome in my home.
From one night to another, you are doing me a service. Please.
But you were the one who recognized the danger we were in. Please, sir.
That was her.
You can donate them, you add them to the box. And he kind of like gestures to what is obviously like a poor box at the statue of
He will put the 2 coins in the poor box. Thank you again.
Of course. Please, this way. And he will lead the 2 of you to 2 rooms. It's very obvious that this house had been built, but has been adapted since for kindred. The windows do exist, and the shutters are full shutters that are almost like with full curtain velvet drapes that kind of hang from them. So effectively blackout curtains in each of the rooms, but still allow for the possibility of opening the windows and airing the space at night. And there are 2 conjoining rooms. Again, very simple decoration. George would leave you. Giacomo kind of like follows him in a way out and leaves the 2 of you alone. The manservant comes back with sleep garments for the 2 of you, asks if you wish your clothes laundered. Do you have any preferences for scents or baths in the morning? The rooms themselves, well, again, well appointed. There's beds with full curtains and full draperies. The windows are fully covered. There isn't, again, it's not heavily decorated. There's small mosaics and some small religious statuary, but what you'd kind of expect from an aesthetic monk.
Yes, good sir. I'd love to have the clothes laundered and given the stress of the evening, um, if bath can be drawn with lavender at sunset, that would be lovely.
Of course, sir. I will also see to your armor.
Thank you.
And madam.
Of course, I would love to have this cleaned, especially the hem, and also a wonderful bath with whatever you recommend. If there's a Palermo special, I would very much like that. But otherwise, I trust you.
Of course, madam. Picture the snootiest of British butlers, but 500 years early.
It's just Alfred Pennyworth.
No comment. Because you have to remember, Alfred is a very particular type of butler.
This is a ghoul for a Templar.
Okay, fair.
It might as well be Alfred.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And he will leave you alone. And he will point out that the doors do bar from the inside. For yours, if that is a concern.
After we have changed into our nightwear, I will go to Sir Ludain's room.
You do have a
Sir
conjoining,
Ludain.
you have conjoining rooms, so there's a door in between, so you don't have to go into the hall.
Sir Ludain, are you still awake?
Yes, my good lady.
May I come in?
Of course.
And I'll walk in and be like, okay, well, eventful day. Do you know what human can do that?
No human.
That's what I was thinking. Do you know it's not kindred?
There are things older than kindred.
Do we think that is
No.
the man? Okay.
No. That is something very particular that I have experienced once before. And only once. And I wasn't expecting it to happen again.
Where was the first time, if you do not mind me asking?
I was still breathing.
Oh. Really? All the way up there? Interesting. So it's not regional. Unless it is. There's some Germanic singing in that. Latin. What is it? What was it?
They have many names. Sirens, fairies, but just by their nature, they can ensorcel through song.
Fascinating.
I was just a squire in Duncan's court. And this radiant woman, I can still hear it in my dreams sometimes.
Well, the important part is that you made it out of there. And you made it out of this one also.
And I didn't have to worry about the sun before it. So it was just a strange night. This. I thought they were all gone. One so far south. What to think on? You can tell he's shook.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is better to look forward than back. We made it out of there. And we got some friends out of it.
We will see about what they know tomorrow night.
Yes, for tonight, it's a rest. You work too hard. Have a nice rest. Enjoy your bath in the at sunset, and then tomorrow we will find out what there is to find out. But here we are safe, and we grow stronger.
I just hope when we find him, he doesn't stink of the bar brawl or low tide.
That you are hoping too much, my friend.
One has to be an optimist in these times.
That is why I am saying, Sir Ludain. Okay, well, I will leave you for the night of the morning, and I shall see you tomorrow.
And as he closes the door, a single bloody tear goes down his face.
And that's where we're going to end for tonight. Well, some fun things happening in Palermo. So many things. So many things. But thank you all for being here. Thank you, chat, for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you to my wonderful players for being here. Sorry, our Vandus couldn't join us. He had some things he had to do, but I'm sure nothing that happened tonight will be a problem for him. Next time we get together in 2 weeks, which will be the finale for Team Low Clan. Yeah. So, why don't we go around? We can say, why don't we just, I'll do my spiel at the end. PB, share some love, where we can find you, all the good things. Thank you again for being here tonight.
Of course. Hi, I am PB from @PB Plays Inside. And I had a blast today in today's game. And my God, I just love that Sir Ludain is so reluctant to be on this journey, but like so ready to be the one taking point on these conversations. I'm just like, please go ahead, Sir Ludain. Please keep talking. Let me learn more about you with your interactions with everyone else. You are such a mystery to Lena, where she thinks she has you figured out, and then something new happens, and she's like, who are you, Sir Ludain? And you play the complexities of the character so well, Pope. I absolutely adore Sir Ludain and how you play them, and just every interesting character you throw at us, Prax. Every NPC is just so unique, so interesting, and I am always so excited to see who is about to pop up and what they're all about. And yeah, I'm very excited for next time to see how this story ends. And speaking of stories, over on my channel, PB Plays Inside on twitch.tv, where you can find me most weekdays. I am at the moment, we're here in the middle of October, so my friend, my good friend Callan and I are doing something called 100 Days of Horror in Minecraft, where we play a horror Minecraft modded series where we are desperately trying to find the way out of this. Like, we really don't know what's happening. We're assuming some sort of temporal space that we've been thrown into. Maybe the agents of darkness have finally come back with a new army and are now unleashing on the world, and that's caused some weirdness. We don't really know. We just know that there's some big monster that comes and attacks us every night that we can't kill, and some monster during the day that likes to troll us, not so much hurt us, and that's confusing. So it's all very confusing. We don't know what's happening, but we still have half a month left of that. So we'll find out what's happening. And we are still scared daily. So it's still spooky for us. And on Wednesdays, starting with this upcoming Wednesday up until the 30th, I'm going to be playing a solo TTRPG on the channel, a different one each Wednesday. This week, we're coming back with the very first solo TTRPG I did on the channel called Case Closed, a Cold Case TTRPG. And this time, I know a little bit more about how solo TTRPGs are run. This time, I won't forget an entire part of the game like I did last time. And I look forward to figuring out who did it. It's a whodunit type of game. So if that's of any interest of you, that's this upcoming Wednesday. Then the Wednesday after that, we're doing a Almanac of Sanguine Paths, which is a play off of Dead Letter Society, I think is what it's called. I was going to run that one, but it's about vampires, and I've done a lot of vampire stuff lately. So I thought, you know what, let's go with the lupine version of it this time, which is the Sanguine of Almanac Paths. That is a journaling-esque type game in which you are a werewolf that has come across this almanac with a lot of information about being a werewolf, and also kind of like a pen pal situation where you can communicate with someone else who has a similar almanac on their side, and you get to discuss, what it's like, the advices you have for each other about being a werewolf, the complexities that come along with it, and also suddenly the politics that you're learning about the werewolf life via this almanac. So it's a very interesting a TTRPG, and I'm very much looking forward to doing it. And then on the 30th of October, I am doing another solo TTRPG called Tangled Blessings. That is a Dark Academia Magical Academy game in which you are an adult who has been invited to this magical academy, in which you find yourself going up against a rival for the next 4 years, and another journaling-esque game where you try and figure out what happened each year until you reach your 4th year, and then you have an epic battle against your rival and figure out which one of you has come out on the top. But with Dark Academia, it comes a lot of spooky things and scary things, and I look forward to seeing how putting that in like a magical sense is going to come out. But that is over on twitch.tv/pbplaysinside all this October.
Indeed. Follow PB so you can watch all those indie solo RPGs. Also the Minecraft stuff, because it is entertaining. I'm just gonna say that. It's just entertaining. And then, of course, Pope, thank you for being here. Thank you for showing all the love.
Oh, thank you for having me. Hey everybody, Pope here. Pope World on the internets. We'll do business because I want to extend play. So right now we're on break with Nine Fox Gambit, but when we come back, there's going to be a familiar face joining us on the cast over on channel Other Doc on coming back soon on Tuesday nights. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. And then definitely keep your eyes peeled for Team High Clan next week. Because what happened tonight in their fair city, um, and I have no idea how they're going to react or what they're going to stumble into given what has happened this evening. Uh, and it has been an absolutely delightful evening. Elena being just, again, another beautiful example of the Ravnos, of the Wanderers who have this very different look on life from every other clan. Absolutely unique perspective, and uh, it is such a delight to see that come out yet again as I get to play vampire. So that is I just a delight. And then, as I was saying on break, I absolutely adore Servatius. Um, I I love a good Nosferatu, and Servatius is amazing. He reminds me a little bit of Ricky Jay, the actor and magician. So do if you feel like something educational and a little spooky, look up Ricky Jay and his 52 assistants. Um, and also definitely check out the Minecraft play because it's if you enjoyed the extended universe of Evil Dead, it has a lot of those vibes. So definitely tune into my favorite blocky Evil Dead sort of homage uh, as TV continues through that. Uh, and thank you all so much for being here. We're live VOD, YouTube stories, nothing without its audience. You're much part of this as we are. Take care of yourselves and one another, and I look forward to seeing you all soon.
Oh, thank you all for being here. Thank you to my wonderful players. Hi, everybody. I'm your friendly neighborhood Prax at Deartradon on Twitter, Prax the Bard over on Instagram, Hive, and Blue Sky. You can also miss anything out, miss any of the fun tonight or the shenaniganry. You can check it out over on YouTube. All of the VODs are there. There are nice, neat little organized playlists. They do come and provide wonderful, wonderful entertainment. You want to support what I do here on the channel? Well, there are two ways really you can do that financially. You can, of course, subscribe here on Twitch, but you can also support us through the merch. We have a merch store, and one of my favorite mugs is there. And I'm going to get one because it is tea season now, and I need, yes, I'm tired of being fucking evil on my mug. It is great. I I also have two new designs which will be going up hopefully this week, maybe, depending on how things go. I think you'll be very entertained and very surprised. They also have a Ko-Fi. Hi, it exists. And everything that you spend or donate through that goes back into the production here, buying hardware, software, upgrading systems so that we can keep this fun shenaniganry and drama-filled storytelling alive. Next week is the penultimate episode for Team High Clan. Billy is now Prince. We'll see what happens. Dan has to figure out how he's going to find a traitor to hand over to, Lord La Sombra. You brought a demon to my island. Let's deal with that. And, maybe Lynn is going to try and figure out what to do with her undeath. Maybe. Who knows? Things are happening. But then and then the next 2 weeks after that will be the finales for Team Low Clan and Team High Clan. But on November 10th, we'll have to wrap up this little vampire Dark Ages macabre fun that we've done. There will be one more one-shot. with a very special guest. But I'm not going to tell you any more about it right yet. You'll have to wait and find out what that is going to be at the end. We'll be back here on Sunday again with Team High Clan. We also kind of hang out and keep ideas. I am also going to be doing another some more streaming popping up in the near future, and I have an idea also for a solo TTRPG that I'm going to probably run here on the channel. That will be some very interesting, inspired by my dear friends, both PB and Trooper, because, you know, fun times will be had by everybody, including me. And I, you know, have fun things to do and support. And we like to support these kind of things. But, follow everybody here because they're great people. Let us see where we can go and send some love tonight. Who is up? Actually, nobody really. Is anybody? No one up to right now. So we're going to end here tonight, and we're going to send some love out into the universe and hope you all have a great night. See you next time, everybody. Bye-bye.